Okay, so I made it back home. It's been a rough day, obviously. Um, so here's what happened. So I said I'd been feeling bad the past 3 days, I think. This morning, I started bleeding a little bit, and so I thought I was on my period, but I don't have supplies. So I took the subway up to the library because the bathroom has tampons to get two or three to hold me over until I can get supplies officially. Um, so I'm riding the subway back. I got back home and I grabbed a bag of recycling that I was planning to take in. The recycling center closes at 1 and I'm at the house at noon, but they're only 20 minutes away, so I figure it won't be a problem. But I didn't rest between going to the library and coming back home because the timeline for the recycling center. I had 40 minutes to make a 20-minute walk, but if there were more people in line, you know, I didn't want to miss the cutoff. So I just grabbed the bag and went on, even though I was feeling hot. I did manage to turn in my recycling. I went in the store and I grabbed the soda, which is what I had taken the recycling in for, was to get a bottle of soda. Dr. Pepper, for those that are interested. So I left the store and I literally just started going down. Like, I got out of the store parking lot and onto a residential street where there was a bit of shade, and I realized I needed to stop. So I sat in the shade thinking that I would cool down and I would feel better. And I started feeling worse and worse. My fingertips went numb. Like they were tingling, like um, when your hand falls asleep. My fingertips had fallen asleep and my toes were going. And I was having real bad stomach pains. I laid down and raised my legs, my knees up, but I couldn't get myself to regulate. I couldn't get myself to cool down and get to a place where I felt normal again. Multiple people walked past me while I'm laying on the ground, and I asked them for help. I don't know if maybe I wasn't saying it loud enough because I was barely conscious, but I was asking for help. And people were just walking past me, probably thinking I was a drug addict or an alcoholic. Finally, after about probably half an hour of laying on the sidewalk like this, well, shifting between laying and sitting up and trying to get myself, I really wanted to just come home and run a bath and lay in the bath water for a bit and cool down because I thought that I was just overheating. I decided to call the ambulance. Now, my phone is disconnected, so, but thankfully, you can call 911 from a phone that doesn't have service. It's just, they can't, they couldn't tell me what number I was calling from, so, and then they had to find me, which was a little harder because I was laying down and I couldn't tell them exactly where I was because I couldn't see the street signs. I just knew that I was close to the grocery store. And 911 actually had a GPS tracked my phone to find me. They told me where I was, which is pretty cool. So these two firefighters show up and they're very sweet men. And I think it's a prerequisite that you be handsome to be a firefighter. These were very attractive fellas. And I explained to them that I felt like I was going to pass out and I kept feeling that way. It kept coming in surges. And they said that they were going to give me fluids there on the scene. Like instead of taking me to the hospital, they could just give me a bag of fluids, IV, right there in an ambulance and let me go. Started to do that. I had a little trouble standing up to get to the ambulance. And then I immediately was going to pass out. And I told the man, and he said, I can see that, which surprised me because I didn't know what visible signs I was showing. But because he could tell that I was about to pass out, they quickly laid me down, got the IV going, and had to hand me a bag to throw up in because I was retching at that point. It can't just from going from sitting down to standing up and moving maybe 10 steps to get up into the ambulance. I had started retching and starting to pass out. I did manage to keep consciousness. But hospitals are so weird because then I'm there and I'm just carrying this bag of my own vomit and I don't know what to do with it. It's just one of my possessions now, you know. Eventually, a nurse did take it from me and gave me a new bag in case I needed to go again. Um, I got to the ambulance. Well, because I was clearly declining in the ambulance, they took me on to the hospital. And they, what was weird was they discharged me before they admitted me. They didn't have anything in the system right. They had my name spelled wrong. It was there was a whole lot going on up there. So the fireman gave me one bag of fluids, and at the hospital they gave me a second bag. So I've had two bags of fluids, and I'm still not having to pee yet. So either my body really needed those fluids, or there's a bigger problem going on. I'm thinking I probably really needed them because I started my period. It's been very hot. I just got to get myself hydrated better, I think. But I really don't know because at the end of the day, the only thing they could tell me was that I had hypertension and nausea, vomiting, and dehydration. And then they sent me off without any prescriptions or anything. And I was able to walk home. Like, I felt better enough that I was able to walk the mile home. I'm just exhausted. Probably going to be going to bed here pretty soon and trying to rest. And I gotta keep my fluids up, so I'm probably gonna start tomorrow making pictures of not hot, but of sweet tea, iced tea, instead of the sodas that I've been drinking to try to get more liquids in. Um, Next week, I am hoping to resume my uploads. We just finished Soap, and I was thinking about starting Benson, but the I don't know whether it's public domain or not. I think like only the first season is. There's another series that I used to watch on my other channel called One Step Beyond that is public domain. So I think we're going to start watching One Step Beyond or possibly very old unsolved mysteries because unsolved mysteries because it's classified as news is public domain. So we might get into those old things. Old spooky stuff is going to be coming if I don't die this week.